course of the next year, we will be presenting various parts of live town hall meetings, the disappearing black community, and how we get it back. Tonight, we will focus on a broad range of issues, and in each of the other series as we continue on, probably Women's Month, March, will be our second series. Black Music Month in June will be the third part of our series, and then in September, a back to school show. So we're delighted that you're here. Let me take care of some housekeeping. I want to thank certainly the August Wilson Center, thank Andre, and the wonderful staff here. They've been just really great to work with. How about a hand for them? Sean, Tricia, Lisa, Allison, so many wonderful people here. It's been a great, wonderful experience for us. I also want to thank our partners, other partners in this event. Dollar Bank and Mona Generette, thank you so much. They sponsored the pre-reception, they sponsored a nice post-reception, private meal earlier, and they are the on-air sponsors of this town hall meeting tonight on WGBN. Mona, thank you so much. Dollar Bank, mutually inspired. Also want to thank WGBN, 1150. For those of you tonight, you should know the Bev Smith Show is broadcast live on WGBN. You can also go to your website and pick us up at www.aurn.com and link on to the Bev Smith Show. This show tonight is being broadcast all across the country. WWRL in New York, WURP in Philadelphia, WAOK in Atlanta, WDBZ Cincinnati. Stations all across the country will be broadcasting tonight. And so, as you will hear our announcer, he will guide you into the spot. We have commercials that we have to play. You know we got to play our commercials now. That's how we pay the bills. So we will be playing our commercials tonight, and so there will be various breaks during the show. Should be a fun and exciting evening. I want to introduce some of the family here from AURN. You will meet, by the way, everybody's in the house. Dick Gregory's in the house. Claude Anderson's in the house. They're all here, and you'll get a chance to see them and get up close and personal with them. They're all here, and we should have a lot of fun. Let me introduce some of our team members who are here tonight from the Bev Smith Show. The executive producer of the Bev Smith Show, Vicki Cogill, is here. You've probably seen her on the way. She's probably moving around the audience. Brooke Titus is here, the associate producer. He'll be running all the controls of the show tonight. Our chairman's here. Our chairman and owner, Ron Davenport, I saw walk through. I don't know if he's come in the room yet. And son, Ron Davenport Jr. here from American Urban Radio Networks. I saw Kim Lampkins, one of our anchors. I see Tanae Kroom, our director of news here in the front row from American Urban Radio Networks, part of the AURN family here. You've heard Jay Silvers tonight, our house announcer, and
yes, sir, I'm here.
Chief engineer, working diligently to make things happen. I do want to say, as we get ready to go to the live broadcast, and it will start at 7 o'clock. They will cut me off. This is one tough woman, Bev Smith. You know, this has been a year. You know, I tell you, you know, it's tough going through one knee surgery. She had double knee surgery. This is a tough system. But she's back. This is a coming out, so to speak, for her tonight. We are just thrilled to be here tonight and to be able to broadcast the Bev Smith Show live across the country from the August Wilson Center, the first of four. American Urban Radio Networks, the August Wilson Center, Dollar Bank, and WGBN are proud to present tonight the Queen of Nighttime Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for one of Talker Magazine's top talkers in the country, Bev Smith.
Oh my goodness, how are you? Welcome to the Bev Smith Show, the live broadcast of a town meeting that is long overdue. Do something for me. Applaud for your being here on a Friday night to talk about an issue of massive work. Applaud. It is so important that we begin this conversation. So here's what I want to do at first. While our guests are coming out, and let them come out, little by little, you're going to introduce them. I want each and every one of you to look at the person next to you. Come on. Don't look at me. I know I'm cute. You like that one, didn't you? Okay. Look at the person next to you. Please do this. We do not look at each other anymore. We don't see each other. This is a wild night. I'll tell you what, we'll take a break, and when we come back, I want this to be done. I want you to look at each other and tell each other hello. This is the beginning of a brand new day for our family. We'll be back. Tonight is the beginning of a 4-part series of conversations about the disappearing African American community. And right off the bat, I want to thank a lot of people because we won't get to do this. And the people sitting on this stage tonight, I just picked up a telephone. I just called them, and they said, okay. So do me a favor before we even begin to talk. Applaud for them. They come from all over the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, talk about this issue. And we are so thankful. Reverend Joe and his wife from the city of Philadelphia, they are our troubadours. Tim Stevens, our own Tim Stevens in the audience. We thank him. We thank him, and we could not do this without the wonderful people. My family, that's what I call them, Degenerate and Dollar Bank, for feeding us so well today. We thank her. And WGBN for carrying this tonight. And we have a lot to cover. And the way we're going to do this is I've asked each one of our guests to give us a statement for 3 minutes on why they think this community that we love has disappeared. What have we done to contribute to it? Why are we in the mess that we are in? And so we begin with Dr. Claude Anderson, who will open up by talking about our economic state. Claude? You can sit right there if you want to, Claude, or is it better for you to stand?
Oh, I'm understand.
Okay. Everyone, Dr. Claude Anderson. Now, many of you who listen on a regular basis know that Dr. Claude Anderson has a book that I'm pushing. I should be getting commission on this. But anyway, the book is called Powernomics. And it is a primer. You need to get this book, and it's available tonight out in the audience. Claude?
Thank you very much, Bev. And I noticed you did learn how to go in alphabetical order. I'm A and I'm going first, right? Okay. You better go behind Dick. Thank you very much, Bev, for picking up what I consider to be an extremely important topic. And that is how we rebuild black communities and why we lost them. And contrary to what most people think, we do not have any black communities in America. We do not have any black communities in America. What we have now are neighborhoods. A neighborhood is where you eat and sleep. A neighborhood is like a bucket with a hole in it. Howard Johnson's and the Hilton Hotel, those are neighborhoods. A black community, which you must have at least 3 elements to have a black community. You must have a wholly independent, self-sufficient economic structure, or you must have a code of conduct to tell you how you treat, respect, appreciate, buy from, and love your people. And thirdly, you must have an independent political structure or individuals that will speak for you outside that community and only for you, and put your self-interest first. So consequently, no black neighborhood in America qualifies to be a neighborhood. Now, how did we get in this dilemma? Because when black folks started off with the integration process, at that moment, the first thing they should have done is say, what would be the significant impact of integration on black folk in this country? This discussion should have taken place 50 or 60 years ago, but it didn't take place. They didn't look down the road and say, what's going to happen to black folk? And whites immediately said, if you want integration, then here's what we're going to do. They took the 1952 Highway Act and drove an expressway through every darn black community in America and destroyed it. And if you want to find a black community any place in America and find an old black community, you go find the expressway. The black community is either under it, over it, or beside it. And consequently, black folk have not progressed in America because we don't have a community. It is impossible in theory and in practice to acquire wealth and power without a community. It cannot be done. You cannot integrate and acquire power and wealth. It's impossible. And yet in this country, we are the only group that continues to pursue integration. rather than trying to simply build communities. That's why every other group comes into this country. The first thing they do is understand the nature of community. What they understand is that whether you like it or not, God has arbitrarily assigned you to a skin color team. Racism is a team sport. Racism is a team sport. You either play as a team or you lose. And we've never learned to understand to play as a team. We keep trying to play as individuals. A group will run over an individual every time. You cannot play as an individual in a team sport. And that's why we keep losing. The first thing, we fail to play as a team. Secondly, is that we don't understand that our conditions in this country are not improving. In comparative terms, social economic terms, we are exactly where we were in 1860 on the eve of the Civil War. We have not moved one iota in this country except socially. On the eve of the Civil War. You can't clap, y'all got a few more minutes? She's gonna watch that clock on me. And on the eve of the Civil War, at that time, when you only had 200-some thousand black folk that were free, but those 200-some thousand black folk had successfully acquired almost 1/2 or 1% of this nation's wealth. At the same time, here we are today, 140 years later, and black folk in America, who are supposedly free, still own and control less than 1/2 or 1% of the nation's wealth. In 1860, on the eve of the Civil War, almost 100% of all the blacks in America were dependent on the white society for their daily income and their wealth building. And here we are now, 140 years later, in 2010. And guess what? Almost 100% blacks in this country depend on some job in some level of government. The federal government, the state government, the city government, or school teaching. That's where we are. When you hear whites talking about downsizing government, they're talking about de-employing black folk. On the remaining of the black folk in this country, 26 to 28% work in some white corporations outside the black community.
Let me tell you, this staff of vision and Andre around here, somewhere around here. When we decided on this idea, they did not say no, they said yes. And so give them just a little louder applause. The discussion continues. Dr. Claude Anderson, president of Powernomics, the Corporation of America. His book, Powernomics, is out in the lobby on sale. Claude, you want to pick up?
Yes, ma'am. So in conclusion, what we are today in 2010 in America, black folk are now a permanent underclass. An underclass means those individuals, by the nature of their conditions, must live as beggars or criminals for the rest of their existence. We own and control absolutely nothing. And we must go back there and learn how to build communities as quickly as we possibly can. Now, in a community, that's where you store your wealth, your power, your resource, your privilege, and your history, your heritage, and your leadership, and your income, and your businesses in your communities. Everybody understands that but black folk in America. That's why nobody else is trying to immigrate. See, the Jews tried to integrate back in the 14th century. They found out they could not integrate because the outsiders, those people hated them, were against them. So they learned how to sort of pulling together and staying together as a team and playing as a team. In this country, whites right now, I don't care whether it is in Miami or Oregon, they play as a team, as a race color, skin color team. Everybody plays as a team. The American Indians play as a team, and they find their space, their territory on those reservations and put their wealth and power on those reservations. Asians, everybody plays as a team. Any person coming from the Far East, as soon as he gets to the United States as an Asian, he said, I'm going to find me an area, a territory, and I'm going to build me an Asian town, a Japan town, a Chinatown, where people, my people, can have a place to build wealth, and industry, and business, and jobs for their own people. The Mexicans will do the same thing. They build Mexican towns and little Cubas and little Havanas. You go across America, you can find little Korea towns, Greek towns, Pole towns, little Italys, court towns, and Jewish towns, but you never find a black town because we are so busy trying to integrate. We've not learned the lesson what Jews learned, taught themselves in the 14th century. We have got to learn how to play together as quickly as we possibly can, otherwise we're locked into this permanent underclass status. Now, we'll be talking about this a little later on. You got to stay away from integration. It's not about hating anybody. It's about loving and respecting your own people. You got to learn quickly to pool your own resources, pool your vote, vote as a block. Vote as a block. Don't vote based on political affiliation. Vote as a block. Vote for any party or any individual that promises the most and delivers to the black community. That's what should be your defining term. Whatever you promise, deliver to the black community. Build your wealth, build your own business, provide your own jobs. Nobody has any incentives to provide jobs for black folk. You got to build your industries and businesses. That's why all other people, 98% of all the other groups work in their own communities for their own businesses. Only black folk do it in reverse, where we work looking for other people to give us businesses and come take our money out of our neighborhoods and keep us in poverty.